What nations lived in St. Petersburg before the city was founded? What statue of Peter protects Russia from collapse? Which cathedral of St. Petersburg is the tallest in the world? Why is there no night in St. Petersburg in summer? Make yourself comfortable. In this video, we will tell you 33 of the most interesting facts about one of the most interesting cities in Russia, St. Petersburg. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel to support our work. We are starting. St. Petersburg was founded in 1703 by Peter the Great. This city served as the capital of the Russian Empire for over 2 centuries from 1712 to 1918 before Moscow became the capital again. Many people believe that at the time of the founding of St. Petersburg on May 27, 1703, on the site of the future city stretched a huge swamp on which there was nothing. In fact, it is not so. Where now is the historical center of St. Petersburg, there were about 40 settlements. They existed here even before the arrival of the Swedes and used to belong to Novgorod. The inhabitants of these settlements became the first Petersburgers and took an active part in the construction of the city. By the end of the reign of Peter I, the population of St. Petersburg grew to 40,000 people. In May 1703 in St. Petersburg were not only alone swamps. Thus, the entire Yelagin Island was covered with dense forests. It turned out that there were a lot of brown bears. The animals attacked the builders and mauled them to death. When such cases became more frequent, Peter I ordered to open bear hunting. Some of the beasts were exterminated, and the remaining ones left the island and no longer interfered with the workers. At first, the construction of houses in St. Petersburg was extremely slow. In order to speed up the process, Peter I banned stone construction in all Russian cities except St. Petersburg. All masons were forced to go to work in the city being built on the Neva River. In addition, the Tsar established a stone tax. People had to give a certain amount of stone from each wagon arriving in the city or pay a large fine. Then the process went much faster, and stone construction in St. Petersburg was established. Because of its geographical location, St. Petersburg can observe a phenomenon known as white nights, when it doesn't get completely dark at night. This happens for several weeks in June and July. St. Petersburg is the northernmost city on the planet with a population of over 1 million people. The St. Petersburg Hermitage is the largest museum of national importance in the world. 6 large buildings, 365 halls, over 3 million pieces of the collection. It will take you 8 years to get acquainted with the entire exposition, provided you don't spend more than a minute on each exhibit. Peter is the only city in Russia that has a cemetery of sorcerers, witches and suicides, those who, according to Christian beliefs, should not be buried at all. The popular name of the city is Northern Venice because St. Petersburg consists of islands of land in the middle of the water. It occupies 10% of the area. The historic center is still standing on hardwood piles. The total length of rivers with branches, canals, and channels is 300 kilometers, connecting the land about 800 bridges. Because of the location of St. Petersburg in the city often had floods. The most severe flood was in the city in 1824. Its consequences are as follows: several hundred drowned, 460 to destroyed houses, several thousand heads of livestock lost underwater, about 20 million rubles of damage. Now there is a dam that prevents such disasters, but there are still monuments to the floods in St. Petersburg. The subway of the northern capital is the deepest in the world. The subway goes 70 to 80 meters deep. The highest cathedral in the world is located in the cultural capital of Russia. The height of the Peter and Paul Cathedral reaches 122.5 meters. By the way, it was in St. Petersburg that the world's first rules for protecting the urban environment from pollution appeared in 1717. According to the decree of Peter the Great, every homeowner was obliged to maintain the sidewalk near his house and sweep the sidewalks. St. Petersburg is consistently ranked in the top 20 of the most visited cities in the world. And among the noisiest capitals, it ranks 5th. The heart of St. Petersburg is Nevsky Prospect. Every day the human flow here reaches to million people. And it is also a couple of degrees warmer than the rest of the city. During the navigation period on the Neva River, the bridges of St. Petersburg are opened for the passage of ships. This spectacle has become one of the features of the city, and attracts many tourists. However, locals should plan their movements in advance because when the bridges are diluted, people cannot cross the river and get to the other half of the city. The length of Petersburg's tramways is 600 kilometers. It is a real streetcar city. There are about as many inhabitants in St. Petersburg as in Denmark, but 2.5 times less than in Moscow. And there are more women than men. The Winter Palace was not always the color of emerald. After the building was built, it was ochre in color, then the shade changed to terracotta, and later changed from gray to brown and orange of the city's recognizable landmarks. The Alexander Column is a real engineering breakthrough of its time. It is held in place by the force of its own gravity, without any supports. This huge pillar frightened the citizens after its installation. And to this day, some tourists shun the landmark for fear that it will collapse right on top of them. Peter can be safely called the city of angels. Here you will find more than 3,000 sculptural compositions with images of these celestials. Kazan Cathedral, built in the style of classicism, is inspired by St. Peter's Cathedral in Rome. The cathedral served as a monument to Russian military glory, and inside it is the tomb of the famous Russian general Mikhail Kutuzov, who defeated Napoleon in 1812. In the 19th century, residents of St. Petersburg were officially forbidden to smoke. Most buildings were wooden, and the bad habit became a fire hazard. Petersburg has 4 official names and dozens of unofficial ones. One of the funniest is the city, where it has been reigning since 1703. The world's largest malachite, weighing just over 1,500 kilograms, is in the Mining Museum in St. Petersburg. The stone was brought from the Urals in the last quarter of the 18th century. St. Petersburg Observatory, founded in 1725 by decree of Peter the Great. The St. Petersburg Astronomical Observatory is one of the oldest in the world. For many years, it played a key role in the development of astronomy and geography in Russia. During World War II, St. Petersburg, then Leningrad, experienced one of the longest and most devastating blockades in history. From September 8, 1941 to January 27, 1944, the city was surrounded by German troops. During the 872 days of the blockade, the city became a symbol of steadfastness and resistance of the Soviet people. The Peter and Paul Fortress is a historic structure on Zyachi Island, which was the first to be built after the founding of the city in 1703. Originally built to protect the city, the fortress was used over time as a state prison. The annual Scarlet Sails Festival is a bright and large-scale event that is held in honor of St. Petersburg High School graduates. It is inspired by Alexander Grin's novel of the same name. The highlight of the festival is the passage of a sailing ship with scarlet sails along the Neva River, accompanied by musical and light performances. In St. Petersburg, there is a museum dedicated to the history of one of Russia's national symbols, vodka. Visitors can learn about the production process, historical aspects, and even try different varieties of this drink. House of Books, located on Nevsky Prospect. This building was originally built for the Singer Company as its main office in Russia. Today it houses one of the largest and most famous bookstores in the city. The recognizable dome and globe figure on top make it one of the most recognizable buildings on Nevsky Prospect. The same building is now home to the office of Russia's main social network, VKontakte. The Mariinsky Theater is one of the leading opera and ballet theaters in Russia and the world. Founded in 1783, the Mariinsky Theater has been the premier venue for many famous works of Russian opera and ballet. Prominent composers such as Tchaikovsky and Mussorgsky have worked under its roof, as well as directors and dancers recognized as international stars. St. Petersburg is not just about culture. A little-known fact about the city is that in 1935, it was the site of the USSR's first rocket-proving ground for testing liquid-fueled rockets. This facility played a key role in the research that eventually led to the creation of the Soviet space program. The city dwellers have a special reverence for the Bronze Horseman, a statue of Peter the Great. All myths and legends of St. Petersburg say that as long as it stands on its pedestal, Russia will remain an indestructible power, and the city will not be invaded and destroyed by enemies. This was confirmed by the events of the war with Napoleon, who bypassed the northern capital, and Hitler, whose troops covered Leningrad with a dense blockade. but were never able to enter its territory. St. Petersburg is full of riddles and mysteries. This city can be studied endlessly. We hope that thanks to this video you have learned a lot of interesting things about it. Thank you for watching the video to the end. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel to support our work. See you soon. Bye.